hey, to all the pet owners and animal lovers out there, here in Sri Lanka, keeping our pets and our communities safe from rabies is a huge deal, right? It's a top priority for all of us. But what if I told you that the standard one-and-done shot you get for your new puppy or kitten, well, what if it isn't actually enough? We're going to dig into some new science that suggests we might need to totally rethink our strategy to make sure our furry friends are truly protected.
So, is one shot enough? I mean, it seems like a simple question with a simple answer, right? For years, we've all just assumed, yeah, of course it is. But today, we're going to look at what the science actually says. And, fair warning, the answer might surprise you. It might even change the way you think about your pet's health from now on.
All right, Section 1, the first vaccination failure. Let's talk about what the science says about that first crucial shot. Okay, so let's get right into it. We all put so much trust in that first vaccine, right? We think it's building this solid wall of protection for our puppy or kitten. So why does it sometimes fail? Well, a big reason is something called maternal antibodies. See, young animals get a temporary shield of immunity from their mother's milk, which is great, but here's the catch. Sometimes that very same shield can get in the way of the vaccine, almost blocking it. It stops their own little immune systems from learning how to build their own strong, permanent defense.
So I want you to just look at this number for a second. 23%. Just let that sink in. It seems pretty high, doesn't it? But trust me, once you understand the context behind it, it becomes genuinely alarming.
Yep, that's right. A study found that almost 1 in every 4 dogs didn't have enough protection against rabies, just 4 months after getting that single initial shot. And get this data came from pets that had to pass a super strict immunity test just to travel internationally. We're talking about a situation where there is zero room for error. Vaccine effectiveness has to be a sure thing, and still, almost a quarter of them failed. Okay, so what do we even mean by vaccine failure? It's a scary term, but it doesn't mean the vaccine itself was bad or faulty. Not at all. It just means the pet's immune system didn't quite get the message. It didn't ramp up its defenses enough to build a really solid, reliable wall of protection. And to really get our heads around this, we need to talk about something called an antibody titer.
So, this term, antibody titer, it sounds super technical, but the idea is actually really simple. It's basically a blood test that counts how many rabies-fighting soldiers, or antibodies, are in your pet's system. The best way to think about it is like a protection score on a video game. To be safe, your pet's score has to be above a certain number. A vaccine failure just means their score was too low. Simple as that. Low score, low protection.
Next up, a stronger vaccination strategy. How science points to a better way to protect our pets. Now, I know all this might sound a little bit worrying, but here's the good news. The very same science that found the problem also shows us a much, much better solution. This isn't about giving up on vaccines. Absolutely not. It's about being smarter with them. It's about using them in a way that builds a stronger, more bulletproof immunity for our pets.
So here it is, the recommended game plan. Think of it like a powerful 1-2 punch with a third knockout blow. First, you've got the double primary vaccination. That means 2 doses, just about 7 to 10 days apart. That first shot kind of primes the immune system, It's like showing it a mugshot of the enemy. Then the second shot, just a week later, really reinforces the lesson. And then you have the 1-year booster. This is the big one. It's like the final exam that locks all that learning into a powerful long-term memory.
And wow, this chart just says it all. Look at the difference this makes. On the left, you see that high failure rate we were talking about with just a single shot. Not great. But then, look over on the right. When dogs get that double shot plus the 1-year booster, boom, the failure rate just plummets. It drops to below 5%. That is a massive leap in protection. It's a total game changer. Okay, and for all you cat owners out there, listen up, because the news gets even better. In this same study, with cats that got the booster shot, get this, there were 0 vaccination failures. None. Absent. The regimen was incredibly effective for our feline friends.
Let's move on to smarter, cheaper injections and the innovations making protection more accessible. Okay, so getting better protection isn't just about when you vaccinate, it's also about how. And this next part is a really big deal. It could be a total game changer, especially for all the incredible animal welfare groups right here in Sri Lanka, the ones doing the hard work on massive vaccination drives for our community dogs.
So let's compare the injection methods. The standard way, the one we're all used to, is called intramuscular. It's a full dose of the vaccine that goes deep into the muscle. Works fine. But now check out this other method, intradermal. With this technique, a much smaller dose, we're talking 60% less vaccine, is injected just under the skin. And the science shows it's just as effective. Think about what that means. For the same amount of money, you could vaccinate more than twice as many animals. This could make a huge difference in protecting our street dog populations and achieving that crucial herd immunity that keeps all of us safe. It's an incredible advantage.
And don't just take my word for it, the research completely backs this up. This quote from a major study says this intradermal method proved to be just as immunogenic. Now, immunogenic is just a fancy science word that means it does the exact same job of kicking the immune system into gear to build protection. So what's the bottom line? It's a total win-win. We can protect more animals more efficiently. All right, let's talk about the key takeaways for owners. What does all this mean for you and your vet? So we've gone through a lot of science here, but what are the big takeaways? What does this actually mean for you as a loving and responsible pet owner? Let's boil it all down to a super simple checklist you can take with you.
Okay, here's your rabies vaccine checklist. This is the stuff you really need to remember. First, and most important, that single primary shot just might not be enough, especially for dogs. So, second point, next time you have a new puppy or kitten, make sure you ask your vet specifically about a double primary vaccination. Third, and this is crucial, do not skip that one-year booster. It is absolutely essential for building that long-term protection. And finally, why not have a chat with your vet about those economical intradermal options? It could be a great choice for your pet, and it's good to know what's out there.
At the end of the day, being a great pet owner means being your pet's #1 advocate, right? You're their voice. And now that you're armed with all this science, you can go into your next vet visit and have a really informed, proactive chat about what's best for them. You can make sure your best friend is getting the best possible protection. So my question to you is, what are you going to discuss with your vet?